So let's get started. We'll invite Sterling King up, and he can talk about how we cannot get sucked into those pest control sales pitches. Come on, Sterling. Let's give Sterling a big hand.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. I've known Alan for a long time, and in fact, we've shared the microphone at city council meetings quite a few times, not always on the same issue, but I've seen him in action. He's a pretty amazing individual, so I really appreciate. I asked him if we could come here and spend a couple minutes with you at some point in time, and shot me back the invitation right away and put us on the agenda, and we really appreciate that. And so we're glad to be here, and we hope that we can share some relevant information tonight that'll help you make better decisions when it comes to choosing a pest control company, or maybe not questioning the one you have, but at least being able to know whether you're getting as good a service as you should be getting or not. But as well, I know there's an audience on YouTube watching, hopefully, and or at home, and of course we speak to you as well. I'd like to introduce tonight Joseph Wilson. First, I'm Sterling King, by the way. As you well know, I'm the Business Development Manager for All Pro Pest Control. And Joseph Wilson is the owner of All Pro Pest Control, and he's with us, of course, tonight. And he'll share a lot of information in the beginning, and then we'll kind of tag team a little bit on a few other issues. But Joseph has been in the pest control business now for going on 20 years. A lot of experience. Started out as a sales representative for Terminex, and has worked since then with Clark and Vertex, Orkin, ran the sales, organized and ran a sales team for Orkin, so he knows the business very, very well. 7 years ago, he bought a small business from a gentleman in Burbank, bought his route that he had, and has been building it ever since, and has kind of took the totality of his experience and knowledge, things he liked and didn't like, and wrapped it up into his own business, so that he could offer the quality service to people that he knows people deserve and need for what they pay for. And so with that, Joseph will talk to us about some of the sales approaches that you're going to hear and see perhaps this summer. Before you go, though, really quick, I want to ask, just raise a hand, who has a pest control service now at their house? Holy smokes, just about everybody. Okay. And this summer coming up, at least somebody who here will be looking for pest control, perhaps. Okay, if you don't have it. Great. Well, then we'll share some great things with you. With further ado, we'll introduce Joseph Wilson.
I appreciate that introduction, Sterling. I've known Sterling for about as long as I've been in pest control, for about 20 years. So it's great to have him on board with me. So just a few things I wanted to touch on is the door-to-door program that we have a large part of happening every summer in Santa Clarita, and Canyon Country included. We have a lot of companies that recruit a lot of guys, and they send them out, and they blanket the neighborhoods. And if you get one, you're likely to get two, and if you get two, you're probably likely to get 10. So it seems it can be kind of daunting and confusing because they all come with similar approaches and similar kind of things and attributes, but there's sort of a lot to look out for, and that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about. First, I'll start off with how they recruit. One of the things that they do is, well, they blanket the guys from school, from college. Large colleges like BYU, UCLA, everywhere in between, Arizona to, just anywhere and everywhere that they can find available guys that are willing to, make some quick money in the summertime, and they promise them the world. Literally, they promise them the world, and they promise them free rent during the summer, just anything and everything. They take them out to lavish dinners and parties and stuff like that. They wine and dine them to recruit them, and then they basically throw them out to the wolves. Basically, they bring them to they're coming from all parts of the country, and they come to a different part of the country where they're not familiar, and they don't give them very much training in the least. In fact, it's to say it's minimal is an understatement. And the training that they do give them is seriously just about how to talk about the services and how to talk about bugs and nothing more, nothing in depth about actually the technical side of things, how to go about treating pests and the laws and the safety and everything that goes involved with it. So they're pretty rough and raw at the first, and and then the pitch that they teach them is extremely aggressive. It's done in a non-confrontational aggressiveness, but it's still very energetic and can be kind of a situation, if you're not keen to it, can get you to think you have more of a problem than you actually do. And so therefore you think, well, okay, he's saying I got all these bugs and stuff like this, so I got to sign up. And sometimes it's really an initial kind of an impulse to sign up for a service that you think you need right away. And that's what a door-to-door guy wants. He wants the sell right away. And so a lot of times you won't look at what you're signing necessarily. You just say, okay, and then they're hitting you with a good deal as well. They're saying, this service that would normally cost $200 or more, you're getting for sometimes as low as $25, $30 or something very minimal like that. And so you go with the deal, and if you were just to stop at that point and read what you're signing, you would realize that the discount that they're giving, they actually are charging you that, but if you cancel your service, then that's what you're going to be charged. So sometimes that could be as much as $200 just to try to get out of a pest control service that you're completely not happy with and is completely wrong for you. And so that's the main pitfall is just watching out what you're getting into. Some of the ways to avoid this is just pretty much common sense. It's taking a pause and realizing who you're dealing with, and just kind of analyzing the good and the bad. There's a couple of resources that you can tap into on the internet. One website is the Structural Pest Control Board of California. They have a great website at www.pestboard.ca.gov. Very helpful. You can go on there. All you have to do is enter the name of the company in the search field, and it'll come right up. The company should be licensed, number one, and it should have a list of the owners or the operator of that company, as well as any of their technicians that have licenses, and hopefully that's every technician that they have working for them. And then furthermore, it should show you if there's been any actions against that company, and so that should give you an indication. If there's nothing there, then that's just kind of step one, because it takes a lot for the company to get a violation of from the Structural Pest Control Board, and a lot of these companies are really fly by night. They can come in and go under the radar for a long time before the Sacramento guys will seek them out. And so the other thing is just do a general search. Yelp is a good reference. Google, obviously. And just look for any reviews that the company might have, any similar experiences. Just the reputation of the company in general. You want to find out, what their overall impression has been, and have they had the success that they're promoting that they've had. Furthermore, the service needs to match up with your needs. The company needs to be able to offer you a full range of services, not just the general pest control stuff, but perhaps if you have a beehive or other stuff, you kind of really want to know that the one company you have that just does your regular stuff is good, but there's sometimes other stuff that comes around that you need to be taken care of, and that's really beneficial to have a company that can do everything. The low price is a bait. Simple, straightforward. It's just something that they put out there, and be very leery of that. The first thing I tell people is just, you get what you pay for when it comes to pest control. There's just no other way around it. There's a certain cost to delivering, as I know from my experience in having a pest control company now for 7 years. There's a certain cost to the chemicals. There's a certain cost to the gas in the truck, the technician. It just is all, there's all costs associated that it takes to get that guy there. And I'm going to offer every discount I can to draw people in to get you to show you how good I can be. But the super low prices, the guys that throw it out there, there's a reason they're doing it, and it's usually because they're locking you in for a long time. And when you finally come to realize how bad it is, you're stuck. And essentially, that's it. You got to know how to get out of the agreement as well. There needs to be an escape clause, something that shows you, exactly how you can get out. There's a lot of laws that the Consumer Affairs has on your side. As far as I know, in California, you're never obligated to pay for a service that you haven't received. So just because you're into a service, what you're going to think is a contract, but is actually just an agreement, doesn't mean that you're obligated to keep that company or to keep that person or anything of the sort. They can, the way that this one company I know in particular will do it, with the bait and switch, they get you in at a low price, and then you want to cancel it, they want that discount that they gave you. Well, it's sort of like a cell phone contract almost, and that unfortunately, I had personal experience with a friend of mine that got suckered in with that, and they weren't able to get out of it. And even the Structural Pest Control Board said, "We're sorry, there's nothing we can do. You signed it, and yeah, that's the agreement you made." So you just got to know. You just got to know how to get out of it, and know that there is a way to get out of it. Pretty much it. I do a lot of local business here in Santa Clarita, and I'd like to do more. If you guys ever need anything, you can give me a call. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. So a couple more things that I want to talk about. With regard to the sales guys in the summer, one of the things that they're obviously they're out of school and they want to make money for school, and they want to be able to survive and make their summer income. And when they're out there on your doorstep, they don't know really anything about the company that they're selling. They don't know really anything about their quality or about their technicians or about what their turnover rate is with their employees or how well trained they are. And in pest control, a lot of employees do come and go. So sometimes you do have issues with regards to the robustness of that technician's knowledge and experience. So, a lot of times the companies know they're selling a lot of contracts, and, they say they've got the very best guys in the world, and of course they're going to say that, and you never really do know. So when they're spraying around your home, do they know exactly where to go, exactly the areas to target? Do they know how to treat the different issues that you've got? And sometimes those take a lot of time to learn and to understand and to have instincts for. So, when these bigger companies that do have turnover here and there or a lot, you sometimes have to wonder, are you really getting that experience that you really need and really, really want? The larger the company, the larger their corporate overhead is. So a lot of times their pricing can be a little bit higher, or it's lower in the beginning, and over time they're going to raise it on you. I know that Orkin does that, and some of the larger companies, they do, give great service, and sometimes they don't. Every company has an opportunity to make mistakes. But those are some of the dynamics with regards to their sales approaches. There's a lot of things they don't know. And so I just wanted to remind you of that. Some of the differences that you should know about these pest control businesses is, it's been around a long time. The modern age that we're in now, there's new approaches to applicating pest control or pesticides and pest control solutions. A lot of you see trucks driving around with the big hose reels on the back. And a lot of these bigger companies have multi-millions of dollars wrapped up into this equipment. And what a lot of people don't realize is because of the EPA and some of the environmental advancements that have been made, whether it's for our good or not, they've been made. And a lot of the pesticides, all pesticides, have a label of instructions of how they can be applied. Those are federal law when it comes to pest control companies. They cannot deviate from those instructions. Most pest control solutions now are required to be applied by a backpack sprayer rather than those old hoses that you pull off the truck. And I know you've probably all seen those before. And there's a real, they're grappling with how to deal with this now, because what do you do with all that old equipment? Because a lot of the applications instructions are changing. And so because of that, they use a lot of the older solutions, things that have been around a long, long time. And when a pest control technician walks into a chemical supply store where they get their equipment and chemicals, more or less chemicals, there's an array of choices in front of them. Some of them are brand new and very expensive. Some of them are a little older and been around a long time and perhaps maybe not as expensive. And when you want to increase your margin, you'll sort of, go for those older ones. But a lot of the newer solutions require the backpack spraying. And so some of the companies that are really on the edge with current events and current ways of applying solutions will use the backpack. And it's crack and crevice treatment. And that's what our company and a lot of smaller companies do. And they're very, very good at it. And the solutions used now that are newer or more cutting edge are very, very effective. And so that's kind of some of the differences between old companies and the newer ones. And all companies can do a very good job, and all companies may not if they don't have a trained technician. But, we obviously, as our company, try to do the very best that we can. But those are some of the differences between old and new, and I wanted to share that with you. But what I would like to do is open up, if you guys have any questions at all about pest control or pest control operations or how it works. And if so, you can address it to Joseph or myself. And we'd love to answer some questions for you if you have any. So does anybody have any questions at all? Sir.
Okay, my concern would be termite.
Termites? It's a good question.
I live in a manufactured home. It's on metal stilts, but the skirting goes down to the ground, and then the porch is wooden, and it goes down to the ground. Okay. What should I be looking for or trying to prevent?
Any wood touching the ground is definitely an area that the termites can enter. I mean, you just want to, if you can get underneath and poke around, make sure that the wood is good in place, and if there's any mud tubes that are peering up the side of the wood, that's a good indication you have a subterranean termite issue. Most companies will do a free termite inspection, and if you have a company that comes out and does a free termite inspection, always get a second, if not a third, if not a fourth even. You'll see that there's a myriad of ways that most companies will be able to treat, will offer to treat termites, and there's just 100 different pricing structures, and it's crazy. Some of them will always come in and just automatically want to tent fumigate for everything. Most should be reasonable.
What do you think of that orange oil that people come out?
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
You hear advertisements about it.
It's,
Orange oil expert?
it's been out there so long, and it's kind of become, ingrained in a lot of people's, whenever they think termite, they think orange oil is the way to go. And the truth is, termites can be killed by soap and water. Just breathing on them the wrong way will kill them. They're easy to kill. I mean, it will.
That could work.
Sterling's, shine off his head. Anyways, anything will kill termites. It's the company. It's the company that has a technician that's trained highly enough and well enough to be thorough enough. Because if you literally, in one piece of wood, you can have 2-3 different termite colonies in between if it's drywood termites. So you have to be able to hit each colony with the appropriate stuff. Just about everything is labeled for termites. Orange oil is no more safe than anything else out there. It actually there's some drawbacks to it. It actually, you're applying oil on your wood, so oil is flammable. Very flammable. In fact, there was an incident where a wooden fence was treated along the property, and orange oil all the way down. And what happened? Some spark hit it. Literally not much of anything, but it hit it and it lit it all up. Immediately burned it all down. Caused a big concern.
Took care of the termites, though.
Took care of the termites. Yeah. In all seriousness, it's a marketing ploy, and it's something that a guy named Jeff Hyatt started up a couple years back. He's no longer in business. He kind of had his run. So there you go.
Any more questions?
Any more questions?
There's one in the front.
Living in Santa Clarita, it seems like every home has an ant problem.
Yes.
What do you guys suggest for that?
Well, yeah, it is true. Santa Clarita is one big ant hill. I mean, they cleared out the properties, and the ants just took back over. Basically, they were gone for a little bit maybe, but then they just started to take back over. Ants are my number one pest for sure. It's really just it's a battle. I mean, you got to obviously inside you don't want to overdo it because you think you got so many ants that you have to do a lot extra for them and spray immense amounts of pesticide on them. It's not the case. There's some really effective baits that I use. Just a small little droplet of it literally will affect the whole colony. And once that colony is taken care of, the problems inside calm down really quickly. And then it's just a matter of maintaining the outside and keeping up a regular service. Obviously, is number one. Even year round, especially year round, because I mean, people think in the wintertime it doesn't ants aren't such a big problem, pests aren't such a big problem, but I get a lot of ant calls after the rain, and when especially after that day after when it's sunny again, and the ants are looking to rebuild and resupply. It's crazy. So I mean, we get ants year round out here. It's something that we deal with, and just at least every other month or a quarterly basis is really sufficient to contain the problem. Yeah, anything else?
The termite pest control outfit in La Jolla, California. And they were hired in, and there had been others that come in, and I guess the termites were in the attic, and they didn't do the usual spraying, et cetera. They used heat.
Yeah.
They had real hot I guess, a petroleum fire
Yeah.
generators, et cetera, or maybe propane.
Right.
And they would run the huge hoses up into the attic, and they would drill into a 2x4 and put a temperature sensor in to know when the heat
Yeah.
became a certain level in the 2x4. And I thought, well, gee, if they can succumb to heat, seems like that is a good way to go. But I kind of wondered, because I think some of them survive out here in the desert, where
Yeah.
our attics were at much higher temperature than what they were raising the temperature down there. So I
Yeah.
kind of wondered about that. So I want to know your opinion on that. My second question is, what do you do with the squirrels?
Okay.
They're eating our boysenberries, they're
Okay.
eating our peaches, they're eating our everything. And
All right.
we need to know what to do with them.
All right. Good question. The heat for termites, heat is great. I've used heat myself, not for termites, but for bed bug issues. Very much a viable way of treating bed bugs because they die at 120 degrees. But heat for termites, it does take that propane heat, and the propane heat in itself, if it's not done correctly and prepared correctly, and even if it is, the dangers are extreme for lots of things to break. Not your house isn't made a lot of times to withstand 140 degree heat for 3 hours or more that you have. Yeah, so it just the craziest things can happen, and the damage can be extreme. But as far as I do know, it's successful. I have a good friend, Sue Fries, that owns E. Termite and Pest, and that's all they do is heat. And I mean, she's one of the biggest companies in California, so it obviously works and is successful. The squirrels. Ground squirrels are a big issue, especially in the hillsides here in Canyon Country. One of the golf courses over here, Robinson Ranch, happens to be a client of mine. They constantly battle them. I constantly battle them. There's been a lot of changes with the way the stuff we can use. The Rodenticide Act has changed. The EPA recently, a few years back, actually, they gave us a good grace period for all the changes implemented. But the rodenticides have changed a lot. A lot of things that we used to have at our disposal are either gone or are going, and so it's real tough. The main thing I have is this material called PCQ, and it's been a California staple for the California ground squirrel, because we deal with the ground squirrel here unlike anywhere else in the country, and it's been something that works effectively. They tend to crave it, they eat it, they store it, so it has long-term control effects, and it just works great. Aside from that, they're vermin. They're open season on them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
You can cook them and eat them, I guess, too.
No. But one of a nice high-powered pellet rifle works really well.
Alan, how are we doing on time? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? We'd be happy to have them.
You got a business card?
Absolutely.
We do on the back counter top.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's give these gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.